or anybody? Super cool. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, okay. You can go ahead and go to the next slide. Alrighty, so before we review the agenda, again, a little note on CSH. So we are the training partners for the Institute. I started this project in 2019 and we have hosted a cohort every year since. So it's been a great collaboration with them. They trust us with the training element of supporting quality implementation of supportive housing throughout the state. CSH, of course, we work in all things supportive housing, as you can see on the screen here. We do training and education. We have a training center with on-demand training, and then we host things like this, which is a little more intensive way for us to get to know our community and support the great work that people are doing. We work in lending, again, supporting to make possible supportive housing throughout the nation, policy reform, and consulting and technical assistance. All right. Supportive housing, again, what are we up to? So supportive housing, said simply, is housing plus services for those in our community who need it most. Why are we here? We're here because this intervention works. Feel free to go to CSH's website, csh.org. There's a lot about Supportive Housing 101, as well as plentiful evidence to support the intervention. New York, Denver, other communities have really studied and are showing that this type of housing plus services, keeps tenants housed and really impacts lives and communities. So we're proud of this approach and we're, again, grateful to everyone who's here, interested in it, and every community who's taking it on. It's not easy work and it is really rewarding work because an intensive intervention for individuals who face great barriers, including our chronically homeless population, which is overrepresented, of course, by Black, Indigenous, people of color, and other marginalized groups, including gender diverse, transgender individuals. We really understand that, systems unfortunately have failed individuals, not the other way around. So we're working together in communities to kind of build a brighter picture around our individuals who deserve support. Next slide. Awesome. Thank you so much. So this is a little map of our current cohort. This particular cohort is mostly centered in Northern Oregon, a lot in the Portland and greater metro area. And then we have one coastal team that we'll hear from today. This cohort is supported or is serving, as you'll hear directly from them, families, recovery community, and other kind of culturally responsive projects that we're super excited to hear from. All right, so this is our Institute calendar. So for the cohort, congrats, look at that, day 10. You've seen this slide every 1 or 2 days for a month, so you made it, congratulations. The Institute is a national CSH project that we've implemented across the nation. Here in Oregon, like I said, this is our 5th cohort. We're building a really amazing network of individuals. In the Institute, we require participation by property managers, service providers, developers, and lived expertise. And that really, forces very intentional planning and intensive study of, housing first and making this happen in your community. So we look at housing first, as I said, the first year, community support, services, property management, communication, collaboration, finances, all the things that it takes to put together supportive housing, which is not simple, as the cohort will likely tell you in their presentations. But again, congrats, you made it. And to those of you who are new to this space, thank you for coming to support these teams. We're super excited. Let me look at my notes here. They're not showing, but I do have some numbers of how many folks we have supported throughout this time. I wanted to give a special note on the last side real quick. I wanted to give a special note to 2 of our site visits that we're able to implement in this institute. So when we started in 2020, 2019, we didn't have an institute in Oregon, so we didn't have, we had PSH mainly in the Portland region, but nowhere else. So we talked about other areas, right? When we taught about supportive housing. And now we're 5 years in, we're able to highlight our individuals who have graduated the Institute. And I wanted to give a special shout out and thank you so much to Hattie Redman in North Portland, Urban League, Portland, a partnership with Home Forward. Y'all hosted us in the beginning of our institute. So it was so great. You showed us what true hospitality is. So thank you so much. It truly makes a difference when these folks can walk through a PSH building, hear it firsthand. So thank you so much. You'll hear from folks in their presentations that you and other site visits really do make an impact. And as well, Sequoia Crossings, we were able to visit you in Salem, in August. So Salem Housing Authority and Mid-Willamette Valley, thank you guys so much. You know, I like your work, and I'm excited that this cohort got to experience your passion and dedication to PSH. So thank you. Next slide. Awesome. So thank you to OHCS for this slide, and I will refer to my notes here so I got the numbers correct. So again, this is our 5-year celebration. You'll hear me say that a million times, but it is really exciting. It's a big deal what Oregon has accomplished and what OHCS has done to invest in PSH. So thank you, thank you, thank you to OHCS. You guys are awesome partners. I say that every year. I really mean it. It's been a joy to work with you, to grow with you. So thank you. And we're excited for the next, whatever it is, 5 more years or whatever happens next. So again, today marks our celebration of graduating 43 teams who have completed the Institute. Super cool. Our 7 projects that you'll hear from today, of course, join a vast network of Institute graduates throughout the state. To date, OHCS has funded about 700 new PSH units that will be developed in the state. 339 new units of affordable and supportive housing have already been developed, and 360 are in the planning process. So those are pretty impressive numbers. We feel really proud of to support, again, the training behind the quality implementation of supportive housing. And again, I'm very grateful to live in a state that values supportive housing in the way that you do, and that we have representation across the state. I'm from Southern Oregon. I was born on the coast in Siletz, and then I was raised in Medford. And I know resources are not equal across the state. Inclusivity, tolerance, ideology is not equal across the state. So I just want to say thank you again for every space you're working in, that you care about people, all people, and you're trying to do work differently and making it tenant-centered and tenant-led. So thank you. It's super cool. I really love the Institute personally and professionally. So that's kind of fun. All right. I'm going to pass it to Deb, our director at CSH. Just want to make sure, Deb, that you're with us at this time. I know it was a little early.
I'm here. Hopefully you can
Awesome.
see and hear me.
Yes, you look great. Thanks so much.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Ray. I love following Ray because their excitement and enthusiasm, I think, is just so contagious. So I'm always just thrilled to have the opportunity to say hello, extend greetings on behalf of CSH, and also to extend some thank yous. So big thank you to the CSH team. I know they put a lot of heart into supporting the Institute. Huge thank you to our partners at OHCS and especially under the leadership of Executive Director Bell and her team. I think that it's safe to say that the Oregon Institute really is the model for how we think about and replicate institutes across the country with our housing finance partners. And what's exciting to me is the engagement, the level of engagement of the Oregon partners. So I hope you all feel really proud of what you've accomplished. I know that it's not easy to set aside as much time as the Institute takes. I know it's not easy to come together as a team sometimes. but you've made a commitment to the training opportunity afforded your team through the Institute. And I know from just the Oregon experience over the past 5 years and what we've seen across the country, that participation in the Institute really does lead to success. And most importantly, folks are getting housed because of your efforts as part of the Institute opportunity. So I do want to extend a huge thank you to all of you for your commitment. And I also want to share with you just how much we learn from all of you. The Institute in Oregon has evolved over the past 5 years, and that is solely because of your engagement. Folks who've done this before you, though I understand there are a couple folks who have done the Institute before. But we've learned from your Oregon partners, and we've used those learnings to inform the Institute curriculum, both for here in there in Oregon, but also our other institutes across the country. So just as an example, the curriculum around inclusion and equity, that really came from the experience that was led by your Oregon partners. So again, huge thank you for the opportunity to learn with you and learn from you. And I'm just so thrilled that you're at this point now where you're graduating and in some ways, I'm sorry, my cat did join me. I was kind of hoping she wouldn't join me this morning, but anyway, I know that the Institute is, it's a lot in and of itself, but in a way, it's the easy part, right? So now developing the projects is the real work, and I have the utmost confidence that what you've learned will contribute to some really exciting projects in the state of Oregon. And again, most importantly, folks getting housed. So huge thank you to all of you. And thank you for letting me be a part of your celebration. Very much appreciated and wish you all well.
Thanks so much, Deb. So awesome to have your support. All right. Oh, I'm so sorry. Natasha, I did not have time to update this slide, but we will be hearing from Natasha Detweiler-Daby. And Natasha can let you know where she is located in OHCS as the OHCS greeting. And Natasha, I just want to say, we started the Institute with you. You were there in person the first year when it was pre-COVID. We did the full Institute in person. You were at the celebration. So it's super cool, full circle to have you back. So we miss Director Bell, but super happy to have you. So I'll pass it to Natasha. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ray, and for everybody, Natasha Detweiler-Daby, Director of Affordable Rental Housing here at OHCS. And I was similarly reflecting, Ray, on that this is the 5-year cohort, and that was 5 years ago. And I think what an amazing honor to have been involved in that first cohort. And I remember very keenly, we had that graduation. I think the week before COVID shutdowns happened, it was for sure the last place I stopped on my way home to buy toilet paper. And I think it was the last time there. So I have a very strong memory, visceral for that time. And it's incredible to see the amazing work that has really just continued to step up. And I think as we're hearing just, a minute ago from Deb, that this work continues to iterate, grow, and respond to the needs. And I think it just goes to the quality and caliber of the teams participating, but also just and commitment to getting it right from all involved, including OHCS, Dana and Amy, and CSH as well. And so I think it's an honor that I am sorry that Director Bell had a last minute conflict that anyway, to support her family, but I think it is maybe a little bit fitting that I am have the honor to be here with you today. And so congratulations to all the 7 teams graduating that have participated. And the work that you all do is fundamental to ensuring access to safe, stable, and affordable housing. We do not accept homelessness as a fact of life, and we see here with these groups how progress is possible. And I think that work only continues to be and feel more important in light of the US Supreme Court ruling that allows cities to ban people from sleeping outdoors. The OHCS position remains unchanged. We reject that homelessness is an inevitable outcome. Every person, regardless of their background or where they come from, deserves a place to call home. And Oregon's shared values serve as a guidepost of hope and progress in cities, suburbs, and rural towns across our state. Our economies and communities are strongest when everyone's fundamental needs are met. And I think, as Ray was digging in, permanent supportive housing is critically important to the community to be able to have that support in place. And so really thinking back to that 5 years ago period when the creation of the 2019 to 2024 statewide housing plan, our permanent supportive housing goal was to fund 1,000 units of permanent supportive housing. We hadn't really navigated what that meant to us, but we have blown that away with 1,700 units funded over that 5-year period. And I think a lot of that success rests on the long impact of the learning that happens in these spaces, where teams are building projects and concepts and bringing all of the expertise together to have those right conversations and learnings to understand how to do it. And then those teams also go on to continue that impact as you expand into other projects in other places. So I think it has certainly been a tremendous investment of time, effort, and energy for everybody here, and that we see very acutely how it has had tremendous impact. And I think Ray quoted some of the 5-year stats. We've had 43 teams complete the Institute, 339 PSH units funded through these efforts, funded with 362 more on the way, which is just amazing to think about all of those households with safe, stable housing. And so, and I think looking at our appreciation for what has allowed this to all happen, I think certainly the work requires extensive collaboration. It is collaboration with development teams, property managers, service providers, understanding and valuing lived experience, and then also collaboration at all levels of government and across community. If we think about even our state resources, the state's investment in the funding to support not only the development, but the operations of permanent supportive housing is a foundation to that piece. And I'm really excited by the ways that our new funding process and the ORCA will further help support development and the ability of the work that you have been creating in these spaces to be able to move forward through those processes. And as we look forward, OHCS has just submitted our agency request budget for the 2025 legislative session. And so this is the process where we provide this request budget that has information on where we see great opportunity for ongoing state investments to further the impact of our work. And included in that request are resources to continue investment in our permanent supportive housing initiative, as well as associated risk mitigation funds, and also look for ways to expand these programs. So I think we are wanting to continue the impact and really expand it in all the ways that we know is really needed. And so I think with that, I just want to end with some strong congratulations to all of the project teams. A huge shout out to Dana for leading this work and our partnerships and all of the amazing impacts across the state. And gratitude for CSH, very thankful for that work 5 years ago to set this structure up and have this work continue to flourish. And so with that, I will hand it back to you, Ray, and just again, thank you all. And I'm excited to see the rest of the presentations.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Natasha. And yeah, stoked that you could be here for the 5-year. I agree. Definitely fitting. So before we show you a little video courtesy of OHCS, I did just want to say one more thing that when I joined CSH, which was in 2019, my first project was this institute. My colleague, one of my favorite colleagues, told me, you know, the institute, yes, it's a training project, but really it's a community building effort. And I really took that to heart. I don't think I understood it maybe as I did then as I do now. So 5 years into this community building effort, I really feel it. It's what I lead with. It's what I see when people come to present their presentations. And I also just wanted to thank, like I have a few show and tell things, this little pop socket, I think it's called. I've never used it as a pop socket because I love it so much. Warm Springs team in 2020, y'all gave me this. You were always doing something cute at your table, whether it was with our fidget toys or your own art. You gave me this beadwork. It's gorgeous. And I am so stoked for you guys. You just opened your permanent supportive housing project. And yeah, means a lot to me. You know, I built community with y'all. I built community with these people. It's really cool. A lot of us come from direct service. I come from direct service. I don't get to have clients anymore, participants, but hopefully, you know, in this world through you, I, you know, feel that. So thank you so much. And then this from Sequoia Crossings, y'all gave me this extremely cool, let's see, it's really hard to see, but it's an extremely cool trophy. So if you ever need a trophy built, maybe ask Nicole Utz at Salem Housing Authority because you do it well. This is a Sequoia Crossings Permanent Supportive Housing Project 2019 to 2024. Y'all are open, doing the work, and you gave me that trophy. It's on my desk. Both these things are on my desk every day. So these teams, these projects, this work that is exploding across the state, both with need and you're meeting the needs. So thank you. We're again just like grateful to be here. So I appreciate the partnership. I appreciate y'all. Those who watch this after the fact, thank you for supporting supportive housing. These projects may name their deliberate asks of what they need to be supported, what they need to keep their staff well served and then their tenants housed. So listen carefully and thank you for listening. So without further ado, I'm gonna let my colleague play a video. Thank you, OHCS comms team. You guys are awesome. You made this video to celebrate the cohort. And then after that, we'll pass it to Lori and the presentation. So thanks so much, guys.
This September marks 5 years of the Supportive Housing Institute, and in that time we've seen amazing housing outcomes together, with 43 teams completing the Institute, 339 PSH units open, and 362 more on the way. Let's get into what this Institute is and its larger impact. Permanent Supportive Housing, or PSH, aims to house people experiencing chronic homelessness through a combination of providing deeply affordable housing, rental assistance, and tenancy support services. Supportive housing is an innovative and proven solution to some of community's toughest problems. It combines affordable housing with services that help people who face the most complex challenges to live with stability, autonomy, and dignity. Members of these households often have complex needs, including mental illness, substance use challenges, and chronic physical health issues, alongside their experience of long-term homelessness. PSH developments include voluntary, on-site wraparound support services addressing those needs. Developing PSH units can be an incredibly complex process, which is why Oregon Housing and Community Services partnered with national leader Corporation for Supportive Housing to host an annual Supportive Housing Institute. This institute not only demystifies the process, but actually brings project concepts to reality through an in-depth 5-month training program that provides specific technical support for each team's PSH development. As a result of the Institute, 14 developments across the state have been opened, creating a total of 339 PSH units for those experiencing chronic homelessness. 12 developments are in the works for a total of 362 more PSH units on the way. Since 2019, Oregon has invested $128 million through the PSH program for services, rental assistance, and housing development. 43 teams have graduated through the Supportive Housing Institute, representing developers, service providers, property managers, those with lived experience, and other housing advocates working together to serve community members with complex barriers to housing. Past developments have included Sequoia Crossings in Salem. The Confederated Tribes of Warm Springs just opened a permanent supportive housing center, bringing much-needed housing support to their community. These past developments showcase what's possible when teams with diverse housing and service backgrounds come together. Congratulations to the 7 teams graduating from this year's Supportive Housing Institute cohort. We're excited to see the positive impact you'll make in your communities.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Wendy, for your support. And thank you again, OHCS comms team. They were able to go out to a lot of those sites. I think we saw Sequoia Crossings in Salem. We saw a little bit of Warm Springs and several others. So thank you again for showing everybody who has opened their doors. Awesome. So I will pass it to Lori to finally get us to our project presentations. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ray. And thanks to all of you for joining us today in support of the teams that are going to be presenting. The teams you're about to meet have spent the last 5 months taking part in the Institute, 2 whole days each month, and have been really dedicated to moving their projects forward. And I just wanted to take a moment to say it has been an honor to see your dedication and your growth within your teams. And I wanted to say that I'm so proud of each team. And I also hope that you're proud of yourselves and the work that you've put into these projects. So with that said, let's kick things off with New Narrative and their project, Henry Street Apartments. Go ahead and take it away.
Thanks, Lori. Good morning, everyone. My name is Will Allen, and I'm the Vice President of Operations for New Narrative Integrated Mental Health. I'm joined by my team today of Tori Meeks, our Operations Director, Jacqueline Kress, our Portfolio Manager from our internal property management company, and Vanessa Deweys, our Director of Permanent Supportive Housing. I'm just going to give a quick overview about our organization and let the team dive into the details of the project. So we've been providing services for almost 50 years now across the Portland metro area, and we specialize in working with adults who experience multiple disabilities, severe mental illness, severe trauma histories, and houselessness. And we offer a variety of clinical, peer, and housing services across our housing continuum, serving roughly 1,500 people per year. We've got about 44 sites and 350 staff. And we're excited to continue growing our housing continuum with this project. I'm going to hand it off to Tori to talk a little bit more about the physical aspects of the building.
Thanks, Will. This location will be a 41-unit integrated site in a redevelopment zone in the heart of Beaverton. We are super excited to be at the forefront of this urban development initiative. Our development partners on this project are O'Neill Construction, HDC, and Holst Architecture, and the project is underway with the full support and enthusiasm of Washington County, Portland Metro, and the city of Beaverton. This site will include indoor and outdoor community spaces, on-site offices for resident and peer services, and on-site parking for staff and residents. With an estimated break ground date of January 2026 and a target service start date of January 2027, we are thrilled to get this project underway. I'll now hand it over to my partner, Jacqueline Kress, who will speak to you all from a property management perspective.
Thanks, Tori. Henry Street Apartments is an integrated permanent supportive housing site with only 25% of the units being PSH. We deeply believe that integrated permanent supportive housing options need to exist in a wider housing continuum so that people with disabilities and severe trauma histories have the option to live and thrive in a space that reflects a wider community they live in. This kind of mixed use environment can help reduce stigma, encourage mutual support among neighbors. Hosting community events and fostering interdependent relationships are key to building a vibrant, inclusive community. I will now pass it to Vanessa to close us out.
Thanks, Jacqueline. With the support from the on-site staff and our internal property management team, we're envisioning Henry Street as a community that flourishes with integrated resident services and that really reflects the neighborhood's diversity, fostering representation and a true sense of belonging. We really want to prioritize creating Henry Street as a site that blends with the broader community rather than isolating our permanent supportive housing residents that we serve. We're going to have local partnerships with the Asian Pacific American Network of Oregon, also known as APANO, and Hacienda CDC. These relationships will help further enrich this site to be a supportive and thriving community. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much, Team Henry. I really appreciate the amount of coordination that you've done with the culturally specific providers. I think that's awesome. I have a few questions for you. So related to what you said in your presentation, how do you intend to integrate the PSH population with the rest of the community?
Yeah, I'll answer that. Thanks for your question, Lori. We're really excited to bring the PSH residents and the broader community together. We intend to do this by creating shared spaces like community gardens and hosting weekly and monthly events to just promote that community building really early on. We're also connecting with agencies who work with families, including our partners Hacienda CDC and APANO, as I mentioned earlier, to really understand what's important in their communities and make sure we're creating something meaningful. I also think that training, flexibility, and value alignment for all of our staff will be a really big part of making this a harmonious community. Although this is a new approach for us, we're looking forward to seeing how everyone connects and supports one another. With the help from the local organizations and our on-site property management, I think we're just really excited to build a warm, supportive environment where all of our residents can thrive together.
I have one more question for you. What does it look like to integrate in-house property management with residential services?
Yeah, good question, Lori. I'm very passionate, and I can speak for my whole team in New Narrative. We're really passionate about integrating property management with residential services. I've personally been doing it for the last 3 years with New Narrative. Integrating property management with residential services involves combining various aspects with the goal of building a cohesive system, right? So we all have the same goal, which is to focus on the well-being and stability of our residents. And we want to support our residents on their journey as they integrate back into the community, because each resident does have a unique set of challenges and needs. And having that integrated model allows us to be equitable in our approach by meeting people where they are at. We join forces with residential services and addressing concerns with a harm reduction approach. We collaborate with each other to produce creative solutions, and we're in addition, being trauma informed and offering resources and support in a way that acknowledges each person's unique circumstances.
Great, thank you so much. And thanks, Team Henry. Great job. Next, we have the Mental Health and Addiction Association of Oregon sharing their project on the Peer Recovery Campus.
Thank you, Lori. Good morning, everyone. Hi, my name is Janie Gullickson. I'm the Executive Director of the Mental Health and Addiction Association of Oregon, and I am a person with personal lived experience of mental health, addiction, recovery, and chronic homelessness. The vision of the MHAAO Recovery Campus and housing was born of the need for people to have the time and the space to heal while they rebuild their lives. We recover in community, and one of the missing pieces has been a place to build that community and to not have to worry about an affordable, sustainable place to call home once that recovery journey has began. The MHAAO Recovery Campus is led by people who have been there, offering support from lived and living experience for individuals and families during a pivotal time in their lives. Our hope and goal is to be there not only to provide support, but to show what is possible in recovery. We at the MHAAO will celebrate these families as they find health, home, community, and purpose, and even some happiness along the way. And I'll pass it to Melissa.
Hi, I'm Melissa Bishop. I'm the Senior Housing Director here at Mental Health Addiction Association of Oregon. Our exciting project is going to be 100% PSH. We'll be providing deeply affordable supportive housing units to families that are experiencing homelessness or at imminent risk of being homeless. These families will be coming from the coordinated access system and will need to meet that 30% or below AMI to meet that income requirement. Our hope is that the families that are identified through coordinated access have self-identified that they are having a substance use or mental health challenge and that want to live in a peer-supported environment. All of our services will be voluntary, but we're hoping through attraction rather than promotion, we can get people that want to connect to these services. Our programming will be integrated with peer support, property management, operations teams, and we will be working together to really bring the services that these families need to be successful in housing. We really want to make this a place where people can heal. And I will pass this over to Jenny.
Thanks, Melissa. Hi, everyone. Good morning. My name is Jenny, and I'm a peer support manager with MHAAO. I'm also a person in long-term recovery from drugs and alcohol. This month, I celebrate 10 years clean and sober. In my addiction, I went from the streets to shelters to apartments, back to shelters again, all while dragging my 3 kids behind me. By the time I went to treatment, I had been to every shelter, some even twice, and I had 3 evictions on my record. In recovery, it took me 5 years before I was able to get my own apartment again. And that's because I had to learn to live again. I had to learn to eat and sleep regularly. I had to learn to be a parent again, to cook, clean, budget, grocery shop. I had to learn everything all over again. PSH is for people like me. MHAAO is honored to be able to provide supportive housing to families in recovery, not only giving them a place to call home, but also the chance to learn to live again. Thank you for listening, and thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you so much, MHAAO. I really appreciate the vulnerability. Thanks for sharing with us. And also, I'm really excited to see what I believe is our first entirely peer-led project. So congratulations on that. I have a few questions for you and your unique project. Can you talk a little bit about the Recovery Campus and how residents will be able to access those services?
Yeah, thanks for the question, Lori. My name is John Carp-Evans. I'm the Deputy Director at MHAAO, also a person in long-term recovery. When we started this project, the lot isn't massive, and we wanted to maximize the number of units, but also maximize the space where we could help people recover and utilize peer services. Since we're on the adjacent property of our peer support center, which will open soon, we'll be able to use that to also support the residents in our building. We'll be able to have cooking classes. There's meeting space, there's a nursing services room, but really we'll also be able to hold 2 events at one time. We wanted to maximize the number of units, and by doing that, we took away community space. Although there still is community space in the apartment building, we have 2 community spaces now because we can leverage the community space in our peer support center to do multiple events. If we want to do a 12-step meeting and maybe an event for children, if we want to have a cooking class or another community meeting, we can do both those things on the same property at the same time without impacting services for residents living there.
That is great. And I did note, I love the space that you've dedicated to all of the community space. And I have one last question for you. Who are the community partners that you're looking to work with on this project?
Yeah, thank you, Lori. So we already work with several community partners in our area. So we plan to work with Northwest Institute of Latino, NARA, Morrison Family Center for our kiddos, Women's First Initiative, who works with people who self-identify as being Black and brown women coming out of incarceration, and Project Nurture, which is a program that works with young mothers struggling in their first year or during their pregnancy and their first year after giving birth to their child. And so we hope to partner with those programs. MHAO really is a peer-ran organization, and we are going to stay true to our mission of peer-delivered services. And that is really honoring voice and choice of the people that we work with, walking beside them and really getting them connected to these amazing partners that we're going to partner with that are going to do the services that are out of scope for us. So behavioral health, physical health, employment, career development, all the other self-identified goals that our residents are going to have. We're going to be able to walk beside our folks as we get them connected. It's really about fostering hope, optimism, and trust in that peer-delivered relationship that I think is really going to be the magic sauce to why this is going to work. And it's going to be amazing. So we're really excited. I believe that with these partnerships and the focus groups that we're going to be engaging all of our consumers in, that we are really going to have and build a program that is meaningful to the residents that we're going to serve, where they can really focus on building a safe place to heal, recover, and thrive.
Thank you so much, Team MHAO. I echo Dana's sentiments. I can't wait to see this project come to life. So congratulations.
Thank you.
And up next, we have Our Just Future, who will be sharing their project Salal Commons.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Brian Shelton Kelly with Our Just Future, and we are really excited to share our project, Salal Commons. Our Just Future has 30 years of experience of providing affordable housing and anti-poverty services focused on East Portland and East Multnomah County. Our Institute team consists of our resident services, supportive services, property and asset management, and real estate development team members. Our project will be located in East Portland, close to transit, shopping, and other amenities. And now I'll pass it on to Natisha to share more about the project, who it will serve, and the needs it addresses.
Thanks, Brian. We have a significant need in our community for supportive housing. Too many Portlanders have experienced long-term homelessness and have complex needs that impact their ability to feel secure and stable in their housing. Supportive housing is the long-term solution to homelessness. Our project will aim to provide stable housing and a wide range of trauma-informed services for chronically homeless adults after emergency shelter stays that offer dignified spaces for residents to live and socialize. I'll pass it to Jessica and Tammy to touch on the services end.
Hi, I'm Jessica. So service will be provided using the Housing First model, which allows for autonomy, choice, and control in one's housing. There are no prerequisites or conditions which allow residents to work towards personal goals and improve quality of life. I'm passing it to Tammy.
Thank you, Jessica. Supportive services will be offered, but participation is not required. The program staff will consist of on-site family advocates, resident services, and a peer support specialist. Our Just Future will partner with behavioral health and employment services and a community healthcare worker. Space will be provided to promote community and 24/7 access to staff support in crisis situations to provide a sense of safety and security. Amy will now provide you with a participant's testimony about her experience moving from homelessness through shelter and into PSH.
Oh, Amy, you're muted.
I had to be the one, right? Thank you for that. While Sam was staying at shelter, we helped her secure an emergency housing voucher. Before moving into her apartment, she shared her personal anxieties about living alone. We were able to transfer her to a PSH program that better fit her needs. Sam wrote to her housing specialist in her words, "I cannot begin to thank you for everything you've done for me. Without your encouragement, patience, and kindness, I would still be languishing away at Chestnut, trapped in purgatory. Even though I wasn't always the easiest participant, to put it gently, you made sure that I got out of my own way and did not miss out on crucial benefits. You made it easy to discuss my reality without shame, and I cannot tell you how much that empowered me. Thank you for being strong when I was weak, brave when I was afraid, relentlessly positive when I was negative, and very capable. P.S. My new mattress is magic itself." We hope that our project will provide a permanent, safe, and stable home for more people like Sam. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that resident testimony. That's really powerful. I also wanted to note from your slide, I really love your focus on the universal design concept, which will really contribute to your tenants being able to age in place successfully and support your goal of being resident and dignity driven. That's really cool to see. A few questions for you. The first one is, what are your desired outcomes for this project?
Yeah, thank you, Lori. I'll take that one for the team. So we have a few goals. One, and significantly, is to expand the supportive housing opportunities and availability in Portland. We also, are really striving to provide a sense of community and safety for residents, and provide services and spaces with a trauma-informed lens that promote healing. We're also aiming for, high levels of long-term housing retention in this project, and we want all residents to have access to the supportive services that are responsive to their needs and meet them where they are at.
That's great. And my second question for you is, how has the Supportive Housing Institute been helpful to you in creating this project?
Yeah, I'll take that one. We believe that it's helped to provide clarity in several ways: supportive services, resident services, and property management, because we all work together for one cause. Additionally, the tools that were provided during the Institute were pretty helpful to us. It helped us to promote teamwork between the different roles. And then just to touch a little bit, when we visited a site, specifically Sequoia Square, it helped us to gauge what the visual side looks like of a completed project, and how the services that are used at that site are or are not working with the residents. Thank you.
Thank you. That's really good to hear. I appreciate it. Congratulations to Our Just Future on your project. And now we have the Bridges to Change team with the coming feature, Simpson Studios.
Hello, my name is Zach Brooks. I'm the finance director, and I'm going to attempt this in my best movie theater voice. Coming soon to an empty lot in Lens. Simpson Studios, a dream development production featuring Bridges to Change, True Colors Recovery, with contractual appearances by Cascade Property Management and LMC Construction. 30 total units, 60% AMI affordable housing, 8 units permanent supportive housing, and absolutely no parking. And with that, I will pass it over to our housing director, Hannah Kenny.
Thanks, Zach. So Bridges to Change will be the owner and the service provider. Bridges to Change is a peer-led organization with a long history of providing transitional permanent group living with recovery services. We offer peer support and case management through our certified recovery mentors and peer support specialists. This is our first step into housing development. Though it is our first time, we plan on making sure the folks that are living in our housing will live in a trauma-informed environment with supportive services geared to promote self-sufficiency. Through this process, we recognize that we wanted to work with a community partner to ensure that we are supporting people who are underserved and most impacted. Through the process, True Colors Recovery Inclusion Statement said it all for us. So I'm going to quote that. Every person, regardless of their sexual orientation or gender identity, has the right to equal access of recovery and services. We aim to provide accessible recovery-focused services to individuals regardless of race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, identity, or financial standing.
And as a residential side street, we believe that the best use of the property is a blend of affordable and permanent supportive housing, with 8 units of PSH, referred to coordinated access, and 22 units of 60% AMI affordable housing, prioritizing referrals from Bridges to Change's transitional housing residents and behavioral health clients, True Colors Recovery's LGBTQI+ program participants, and other community partners. Bridges to Change licensed behavioral health treatment center is only 3 blocks away from the developments, and all services are voluntary.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. We're really eager to see what recovery can look like in supportive housing. So congratulations on your project. And following up on something you mentioned, why only 8 units of PSH?
So multiple reasons. Positive note, one of the primary goals of this project is to prioritize referrals from Bridges to Change and True Colors and other recovery-oriented partners. Bridges to Change provides transitional housing for justice-involved individuals. Many of them have severe and persistent mental illness and limited options for permanent housing. This is an ideal site for affordable housing. Consistently, we notice that we have residents that are in our housing that are not able to move out due to criminal history, due to just self-sufficiency in general. And so being able to create this for those folks that continue to kind of stay in services and not be able to move on or continue to fall through gaps, we notice that this is something that's really important for them. Additionally, BTC's or Bridges to Change's Behavioral Health Center is only 3 blocks away, which is a great referral source for both clients accessing affordable housing and tenants seeking voluntary behavioral health supports.
And then from a more negative side, the site is really well located right off 82nd and Foster, but the actual building design is not perfectly suited for 100% PSH. The building takes up the entire lot, and there is limited communal space besides the resident services office.
Great. Kind of building off what you said, Zach, why use the design you chose if it's not ideal for PSH? You want to add a little more?
So we purchased this lot as a permit-approved architectural plans from a for-profit developer who had terribly planned to name it Foster Flats, which, if anyone knows the neighborhood, it's a really bad name for that. They were going to do 6 units of 80% AMI and the rest market rate. So the pro is that the site is shovel-ready. It can be developed relatively quickly at a low cost per unit. The con is that we cannot adjust the design without potentially invalidating the permit. So it is a pretty small amount of acreage, and we are pretty stuck with the architectural design that we have. But excited to get moving on this and get some applications in with you guys.
Awesome, thanks. You saved the site in a sense.
Yes, we saved the site.
Great work, Simpson Studios. Congratulations and thanks so much.
Thank you.
So next, let's welcome Washington County team with their environmentally aware project, the Grove Apartments.
Good morning. Welcome, everyone. I'm Leslie Johnstone, Asset Manager for the Housing Authority of Washington County. We're excited to present an innovative collaboration with CARE Oregon, Centro Cultural, Washington County's Homeless Services Department, and the Housing Authority's Asset Management and Development Departments. The tentatively named Grove Apartments will be located on a 2-acre expanse in Forest Grove. The unit type mix is currently in development and will be refined to align with the evolving needs of our prospective residents. Laura?
Hi, unmute helps. I'm Laura Jackson, the development manager for this project with Washington County Housing Authority. The Grove Apartments utilizes the local supporting housing services measure to fund essential resident support services and rental assistance programs, in combination of the partnership with CARE Oregon to leverage Medicaid funding for eligible clinical and community-based supports for our residents. Our aim is to develop sustainable housing solutions for chronically homeless households, emphasizing behavioral health support and culturally specific services to meet the community's diverse needs. We're committed to fostering long-term stability, well-being, and resilience for those we serve while acknowledging housing as an essential human right.
Hello, I'm Rigoberto Lopez, Assistant Director of Housing Stability Belonging with Centro Cultural. For over 50 years, Centro has been dedicated to supporting underserved communities, addressing their unique cultural needs with compassion and expertise. As a service provider for this project, we draw on our extensive experience to serve diverse populations to guide our work. Our commitment to providing comprehensive support, creating a true sense of belonging, remains central to our mission. We're focused on helping individuals move from crisis to stability, ensuring everyone has the opportunity to thrive.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Keisha Bigler. I'm the Director of Social Health at CARE Oregon.
Care Oregon manages the Medicaid benefit, and we're part of the Health Share CCO in the Tri-County area. And we'll be the main funders for this project in terms of services and supports once it opens. And we're looking to leverage the Oregon Medicaid 1115 waiver and the various flexibilities within it to meet individual member needs through various demonstration projects, alternative payment methodologies, and other programs and benefits in partnership with our network and our partners in the community to ensure equitable access to care for all. And I'll hand it back to Leslie.
As asset manager, I oversee the property management operations in addition to planning for the long-term needs of the community. This oversight includes successfully integrating property management into the PSH model and working in tandem with service providers. I ensure that the management staff is trained in low barrier housing criteria and trauma-informed practices, clearly define the roles of all parties involved in day-to-day operations, and promote teamwork across all components of PSH housing. Residents are more successful and secure in their housing when they have a cohesive and communicative team supporting them. Laura?
Hi. My responsibility is to bring the project design into alignment with the values and intentions of our idea while staying on budget. Understanding how our mental and physical health are directly impacted by our environment, both built and natural, we envision this development as an intentional, supportive community built around healing. This means using the principles of trauma-informed design, universal access, and environmental sustainability while integrating biophilic elements for welcoming and nurturing space with support services intertwined into the building design and operations. We're excited to work with Forest Grove and our service partners to bring another much-needed housing-first, low-barrier entry property to the community. We hope to break ground sometime in 2026.
Great. Thank you, Washington County team. One of the questions that came up for me in your presentation is, because it's located on the southern edge of the city, how will residents access transportation services?
Yeah, great question. That was one of the concerns that came to light during this process, actually. And so I reached out to our partners at Washington County and Forest Grove to discuss the project and the specific needs of our population. They all agreed that we would definitely need a new bus stop right in front of our property. We talked a couple of different options for extending routes and are waiting to hear back on the final solution. But we've been assured that we will have a bus stop in front of our property as long as we make sure to put the bump out into our site plan. And we promised them that we would integrate that design into our site plan. So that's great.
That's awesome. I really applaud you for your collaboration and your advocacy to get that bus stop approved for your residents.
Thank you.
And a follow-up on the Medicaid piece, you have Care Oregon on the team. How will you utilize the Medicaid program to enhance service integration, including grading funding for sustainability of service delivery?
Yeah, thanks, Laura. It's a good question. So I think through the 1115 waiver, we have a lot of flexibilities to be able to pay for different services and supports and access to like non-traditional provider types that are not traditionally captured in a billing code. We know there's a lot of limitations to what can be billed through a traditional claims process, but through the waiver and through other mechanisms like value-based payment contracts or leveraging things like our health-related social needs benefit that's getting ready to launch or health-related services, we have opportunities to support access and address social needs and other needs through those mechanisms. So it creates an opportunity for funding sustainability long term. So in general, I think there's a lot of opportunities for us to leverage different options to ensure long-term funding sustainability of the services at the PSH site and ensure those basic human needs are being met in a very like culturally centered and trauma-informed way.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. It's really cool to see folks taking on Medicaid proactively and to have Care Oregon on the team. It's pretty unique. Thank you, Team Washington County, and congratulations on your project. Great work. And next, with their coastal project, we welcome the Home First team with Manzanita Pines.
Hi, my name is Will Harris. I'm with Home First Development. We are the developer on the Manzanita Pines project out on the Oregon coast. Manzanita Pines is envisioned as 60 units of affordable housing with a potential for 12 PSH units in the city of Manzanita. To speak about services, I will hand off to David and Elizabeth at CARE.
Thanks, Will. We at CARE help create community stability primarily through comprehensive eviction prevention services. We focus on asset building and strengthening landlord relationships to ensure that individuals and families remain in their homes. With 10 years experience with PSH projects, we make sustainable solutions for long-term housing and economic resilience. Now here's Elizabeth with more on our services.
Thank you, David. For this project, CARE will provide on-site trauma-informed case management and 24/7 on-call peer support, as well as coordinating with local partners to build robust wraparound services with a variety of options. Being a rural community, CARE has a 30-year history of delivering basic needs and eviction prevention services to our community. Thank you, and next we have Michelle from Cornerstone.
Hello, I'm Michelle. At this Manzanita project, Cornerstone will be providing the resident services programs. Cornerstone has 20 years experience, and we currently work in 14 counties across Oregon. We do specialize in building community and helping support housing stability. So at this site, we will host regular office hours and events for the residents that live there that include like food pantries, community gardens, barbecues, homework helpers, bingo, and other events. We do know it takes a long time to build trust. All of our services are voluntary with no strings attached, and that deeper connections will happen over time. To support this approach, all of our staff are certified as peer support specialists to bring their own lived experience to the team. We will work with CARE and the property manager to provide new move-in packet information and develop a resident council so that residents have opportunities for leadership and engagement over time. And here's Jessica from Key Property Management.
Thanks, Michelle. Key Property Services comes to this project with over 30 years experience in managing affordable housing, including 10 plus years in managing supportive housing projects. This will be our second project with Home First Development. After working with these projects, we look to hire staff that have trauma-informed experience and are big on communication. It's our goal to remain in constant, regular communication with our resident services teams to ensure we are best meeting resident needs. Additionally, we're familiar with teaming up with ownership and resident services to develop a well thought out tenant selection plan that will best accommodate the goals of the property, including adding a more robust appeal process to allow more renters housing access. We're excited to be partnering together to bring supportive housing to the coast. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Home First. I really enjoy, I was looking at your slide and the rendering and all the open space that I see. That's super rare for our projects in Portland, so that's really cool to see. And it's also really heartening to see a property management team with such dedication to supportive housing. So congratulations on your project, and some questions for you. What unique opportunity does this project provide for your community?
Oops. Thanks, Laurie. I can answer that. I think one of the things we think about out on the coast is that affordable projects aren't always well received in the local communities. This Manzanita Pines project actually has letters of support from the city of Manzanita, and I think can kind of showcase that model that this type of housing does fit on the coast, is needed on the coast, and hopefully this can be a model as to how that moves forward across the breadth of the coast. I also think that there's a unique opportunity to kind of re-envision from a design perspective. You mentioned, we're not in an urban environment, and we do have a little bit more space. The site is 4.6 acres. We've dedicated 40% of that to remain as open space. And as you can see, the rendering really does give that opportunity for a natural feeling in the pines, so to speak. And we think that's an opportunity from a design perspective to bring those elements in and just create a little bit more choice when we think about affordable housing. And to that end, we've been looking at a lot of our other projects around playgrounds and those common areas outside. We do envision this will support families, and we want to draw on some of the research that's been done in Portland Parks and Rec around universal design to really create an opportunity for inclusion in those outdoor spaces. So we really think that that's also kind of a design element that is an opportunity here with the space we have. And then lastly, just fundamentally across the coast, this project provides an opportunity, I think, to further develop service networks. And I'll let David at CARE speak a little bit to how this project can help fill that gap.
So, yeah, primarily as far as services go and how they look around on the coast, most services are really siloed based on where you're at, which city, or even which county you're in. And it doesn't really extend far out beyond Tillamook. So what this project has really helped us to do is help foster more interorganizational relationships with partners that aren't in our town. They're up in Nehalem and up in other places in our county. And really it fits in with what CARE is already doing, is growing as a funding hub for other organizations to get funding to help the people in our county. And with that, on the flip side, this will also help us to alleviate PSH pressure on our private landlords, because primarily we've been administering PSH through like scatter site, through landlords who don't know Home First or don't know Housing First, don't know trauma-informed type practices. So with it all being in-house and us collaborating together, this is going to help us foster more relationships that are beneficial and also maintain them. So
Thank you. That sounds really well thought through in terms of building your community. All right. Second question, as we're thinking about community, have you been able to gather design and services feedback from potential tenants?
Well, yes. So we hold monthly focus groups, and also we have community engagement with our own micro shelters that are essentially PSH type clients, or people really. And some of the things that they've brought up was, hey, how are we going to have PSH up in Manzanita? Should we have it in Tillamook? Some people were saying, hey, we like being out of Tillamook. We're tired of this place. So we've really been working to address like those things and the issues that they've also brought up, because we're going to have transportation issues. There's inner city stereotypes that Will already mentioned, and by the work that they've already done and the community support that we've already had, this is really going to be breaking barriers between our cities and between our people and what we really think about how PSH is going to be running like. And as far as transportation issues goes, and we have already been working to address that by having a shuttle run between us and other local shelters. So just extending our reach is not something that we're really too concerned about. And also, having this PSH up in Manzanita, it's providing more housing options outside of Tillamook. So, and a lot of people, it's wherever their support network is, that's where they got to be. And right now up in Nehalem, we don't have a whole lot as far as support networks go. And having this up there will give them that and help them get those wraparound services that they need, and not forcing them to move and live in Tillamook or anywhere nearby. Now, Michelle also, she has some more as far as design aspects and things.
Yeah, one of our final comments is, since we have the lucky blessing of delivering services across 14 counties in Oregon, we do a lot of surveys. We interact with a lot of people, many of whom are PSH models. The number one thing we hear in all of our surveys from residents and focus groups is just that people want to be treated with dignity and respect and feel heard. And so I'm hoping our project can kind of echo that with the relationship we're building early on with property management and development and these service teams coming together. So we're really excited.
Great, thank you so much. I love to hear about the consistent connection with folks who are potential tenants in there. That's really powerful and leads to strong projects. Thanks, Home First. Congratulations on Manzanita Pines. Great work. And last, but certainly not least, we welcome Path Home with their family housing site.
Okay, hi everybody. Path Home is a nonprofit whose mission is to empower homeless families with children to get back into housing and stay there. Our headquarters are in the Lentz neighborhood of Southeast Portland, where we own a large campus on 1.5 acres of land. Currently, we operate a family shelter for 17 families on our site. It's the first shelter in Oregon featuring trauma-informed design and architecture. We're embarking on a campaign to build 2 new buildings on our campus that will drastically expand our services, including a building of housing and a building of services.
Thanks, Brandy. Path Home plans to build 35 units of 2 and 3 bedroom housing for families exiting homelessness. Half will be permanent supportive housing and half will be affordable housing at 60% area median income. As owner-operators, Path Home will provide mission-driven property management services. Our property management and case management staff will consult and communicate on a regular schedule to ensure alignment in providing the best possible services to families. Path Home will pay for all utility costs for all tenants in the building, regardless of whether they are PSH or 60% units. And our housing, building, and our green spaces will be created with trauma-informed design and architecture.
We'll also be building a 4-story wraparound program services building with co-located service partners specializing in mental health, domestic violence and substance abuse support, employment training, some basic healthcare needs, and childcare. We also plan on offering additional programs such as parenting classes, 12-step programs, and a food pantry. All programs will be voluntary and resident-driven, and all of our referrals will come from the Multnomah County Coordinated Entry for the Family System.
Path Home will be the developer on this project, and we're working with Housing Development Center as our development consultant. Other project partners include Walsh Construction and Carlton Hart Architects. To fund this project, we're applying for OHCS Permanent Supportive Housing Capital Funding, combined with 4% low-income housing tax credits. We're also applying for permanent supportive housing project-based vouchers and services funding from OHCS.
Path Home has a long history of engaging families in designing the programs we deliver because we believe families know what they need better than anyone else. For this project, we created a survey to get prospective tenant input. We asked about things like amenities and site services, security cameras, security staff, and laundry machines. We already received 26 responses, and we are actively incorporating the feedback from families into the design of our program, and will continue to do so during each step of our housing development. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Path Home. I love to hear the prospective tenant engagement as well. Your explicit focus on the 2 to 3 bedrooms is, I think, unique among this year's projects, and along with the other teams focusing on family housing, very much needed in our communities. So excited to see a project. I am wondering, why are you performing all the different roles in the project, from property manager and owner to service provider?
Hi, I'm happy to answer that. We wanted to ensure a fully integrated trauma-informed approach across all aspects of our project. And by serving in all these capacities, we'll be able to apply trauma-informed care and design principles consistently, from the physical environment to how we deliver our programs and services. And by managing everything in-house, we'll be able to maintain greater control of quality, ensure accountability amongst all of our partners, and foster stronger collaboration. It'll also allow us to quickly adapt to challenges, streamline communication, and provide a seamless, high-quality support tailored to the unique needs of the families we serve.
Makes sense. And why the focus on families with children?
Yeah, Oregon has more homeless families with children than any other state in the country. And when you look at major metropolitan areas, Portland has the 2nd highest rate of homeless families with children than more than any other city in the country. Here locally in Multnomah County, there are 800 households on the homeless family system of care coordinated entry waitlist, yet the Joint Office contributes only about 6% of their total budget to homeless families with children. And so because we believe families, especially the kids, are one of the most vulnerable populations in our community, we specifically tailor all of our services to work directly with families with children. And we believe that there is so much permanent supportive housing needed for this population. We're really excited to be able to offer that to the community.
Awesome. We echo your excitement. This is a great project. Congratulations on all your work on it. All right. And with that, that is the end of our presentations and my questions. Great job to all of the teams. I know I've said it several times, but congratulations on all your hard work. We're here to celebrate you today. And I also want to open the space for audience questions. So you can definitely put them in the chat. I think if you want to come on mute or off mute, you can also just ask your question. And Ray, did you have any questions from the chat? I wasn't able to.
Yes, I believe I only had the one, and if I missed it, just please let me know. But yeah, we see a question for Mental Health Association of Oregon. A person was curious about the right to remedy planning. So if any one of you could pop on, we will spotlight you and answer that question about right to remedy.
Yeah. So Melissa Bishop, Senior Housing Director. So we will definitely have right to remedy. People will not be exited for return to use or continued use. So we will definitely be supporting folks. We just want this to be a healing environment where people can come with their kiddos that are having these challenges, and that if they were living in other normal market rate units, that they might be evicted or not get the support they need. So we will have a clear pathway to remedy situations, but people will not be exited from housing for use.
I just have a quick follow-up question to that.
Yeah.
So is there an in-house strategy that's being developed? Because I know there's a fine line for like medical and mental health professionals in terms of like mandatory reporting. Is that something that you've designed in-house and factors that you're taking into consideration per resident and per service plan?
Yeah, so we will definitely, it's still a work in progress and how we're going to be doing that. But there just is mandatory reporting, but that doesn't mean that somebody has to be exited from their unit. And so we are definitely going to work diligently on that and working with some of our other housing providers that are doing this work at Central City Concern and other housing programs.
Great. That sounds amazing. That gives me such hope, because I feel like it's normally a domino effect, especially in the marginalized and already barrier-ridden communities and populations, right? You're struggling with addiction, and then you if you have a relapse or whatnot, you lose your housing, and then you're just back at square one.
Yeah.
So what gives, and I'm just thrilled. I can't wait till this is up and running. I'd love to swing by and visit.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. I mean, what we want to do is like have these families in a place where people get it. Like, yeah, we get like relapse is going to happen, continued use is going to happen, but we want to support that. And that's through harm reduction, through whatever pathway they need to get to the place of being able to create safety as they, self-directed safety. And so it's going to be exciting. There's going to be some challenges. We know that. And it's going to be pretty exciting to be able to do that. Because I've worked in housing where I had to, you got 2 chances and that was it. And so our goal is to give them the chances they need to recover.
Right. Imagine addressing addiction minus the shame and minus the harsh consequences. So yes, I'm all for it. I'm super excited, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you. I'll make sure you get an invite.
Anyone else have questions that they want to ask the teams? Also, if you're on a team and you have a question for another team, feel free.
Okay, I don't mean to hog, hog the questions, but I'm really eager to hear. I did hear that a majority of the programs are housing first. So I'm really eager to hear where does the engagement start? What's the planning? Like, is anybody willing to share with me what the planning phase, or what does it look like currently? Like with Sequoia Crossings, we implemented a warm handoff, right? So during lease up, we did a handoff to supportive services to kind of like, you know, piggyback one contact off of another, and it really has fared well. And there's been very little pushback or reluctance to engage. So I'm wondering if any other of these prospective programs have thoughts or ideas or a strategy that they'd like to share. I'd be interested to hear.
Any brave souls?
I'll just jump in here just from speaking about my understanding of housing first principle is, you know, oftentimes in treatment or anything like that, you don't deserve housing, you get housing first, and then we will be able to address other issues. And as you become stable, then you're able to, you know, start to let go of some of those crutches. And so from that perspective, simply we as a county, as Washington County, sorry, Laura Jackson, Washington County, we work with our coordinated system, coordinated care entry system. And so we're working off of lists from shelters and from other resources that are taking in homeless populations. And so we're trying to get people off the lists and bring them in and give them opportunities and choices for homes that can suit them, whether they need PSH or you know, a multifamily property that doesn't need support services, or, you know, whatever it is that they need. So our engagement starts with the shelter level with potential residents. We're gonna reach out and do a survey specifically for this development with shelter residents, seeing kind of what some of their top wants and dreams and needs are, and concerns and securities and things of that nature, just to ensure that our development is best reflecting their voice. So.
Thank you for that, Laura. Anyone else want to share their process for when engagement begins? All right. Any more questions for our teams? All right. Well, thanks everyone. Ray, I want to pass it to you for closing us out. And you're on mute.
Can you guys hear me now? Yes. Right? Yeah. Thank you guys so much. Congrats to our 7 teams. Super cool. We are very excited to see where you head next and what you do. We recorded this, so we will publish this on the OHCS YouTube. Thanks again for your support of supportive housing. if you're policy people, if you're electeds, get to know these teams, visit them. That interplay you saw between Lucy at Sequoia Crossings in Salem and Mental Health Association of Oregon, that's really the joy of PSH and having an institute in the state, is that we really see people support one another. And of course, we learn from each other. And then each new project innovates. And that's really why I'm here, because it's like, that's super cool, creative, innovative, good stuff that's going to serve the community better. So thank you all so much again. Congrats to the teams. Y'all are done. You made it 5 months. We know it's a big ask. We appreciate you. OHCS, thank you. Teams, thank you. Participants of this webinar, thank you. So we'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Congratulations all.